Well, boys and girls, it's just had the MOT and I'm not going to drag it out any longer. Here's the results. Hello all and welcome back to my channel, Rover Turbo. This is part 5 on the Range Rover TD6 project, the Range Rover I bought blind over the internet. You can go back and you can see all the previous parts if you go back, and you can see all the stages that I've gone through to get it bought, you know, when I bought it and that kind of stuff. So you can spy a couple of new projects I've got in the background. There'll be videos coming on those soon. So in this video we are carrying on with the brake pipes on the front, the painting, getting it into an MOT and then seeing what happens. So follow me through with the video and see what happens at the end. Right, I've got me a new set of rear brake pads. I'm just basically starting to, this side I've already done, but obviously I'm not just going to replace one set of brake pads. So I'm going to take that apart, put a new set of brake pads in there, and then I've got the piston for the other side, so I'll do this one first, and obviously then go over there, pop this piston out, put this new one in, put the pads in, and then that'll be the rear dump. As you can see on this side, there's nothing wrong with the pads at all. I mean, that's obviously, that piston on the other side must have been sticking for a while, which is why I'd done this side first before I did the other side, which is why I obviously put it all back together thinking it would be fine. So right, so that's the new pads on, so this is done, wheel on, and then move over to the other side. Right, moving on to the other side, got the caliper off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the dead man on the pedal and just literally just going to keep pumping the pedal until that pops out, and then I'm just going to keep the pedal pushed down to the floor, and that will stop all the brake fluid coming out of there, and I'll just use the brake pressure just to push that out, and hopefully I should feel it pop. So these are the pads, so you can see how bad they are. I mean, this wouldn't have been helping with the binding anyway, because the pads wouldn't have been. I was wondering if I could actually get, yeah, look, this disintegrated due to overheating. Well, I think that's pretty much as far out as it's going to come. All right, let's see if we can manhandle this out. Ooh, look at that. Looks like the right piston, doesn't it? This is what happens to your brake fluid if you don't change it every 3 years. It turns into mush. Right, we'll let that evaporate off. Right, because I've still got me thing on the pedal, it's obviously, I now can't push that back anymore. So there you go, that's pretty much it really. Pins back in, tighten it up, clip on. Obviously it's been painted as well, and bleed brakes. Right, that's it. So it's all back together, bled. So I'm just going to put the wheel back on, and then I'm going to start on the fronts. Now we're on the right hand side, so just taking the caliper off, just giving it a bit of a wire brush, just rough. You can sort of see where I've done most of it, so I've just got to, obviously I've given that a little bit of a wire brush, and I've just got to do the rest of it, back tan it. This, I've got to take this off to get to the brake pipe. And the pipes do look okay, it's just a bit of corrosion on there. Again, I'll clean that up. Bit of paint on that. I do have another set of brake hoses actually. I don't know whether to replace them or not. There's nothing wrong with them. They're not split or perished. Don't know, I'll think about that. If it doesn't need them, there's no point in putting them on. They could always be used for something else. So we'll take the caliper off. I might pump the pedal and have a quick peek inside the piston, because if you saw in the other part of the video or the previous video or whatever part of the video it is, it was still binding a little bit. I can't remember whether it's this side or that side, so it could be just due to the pins or just, you know, just general rust and stuff where it's been sitting. But I don't want to take this all apart, paint it or put it all back together again. The pads look almost brand new in there and then have another problem. So I might pump the piston out, pump it out a little bit and peel back the rubber and just have a look at the piston just to see what condition it's in. So I decided to take the piston out anyway. When you've got all the kit and a bleeding kit, there was a little bit of corrosion on there. I don't know whether that's corrosion or dirt. I mean, there's just the colour of the brake fluid anyway, so I'd rather get that out, clean it up, see the condition of it, have a look inside there. Which you're probably not going to be able to see, there's probably a load of Q in there. So, it looks like I need another piston. Oh, well, I say another one on the front, because they're significant. I mean, you can feel how that's pitted. I have wire brushed it up, but there's quite a lot. It's probably at the bottom, or the water's probably that was in the brake fluid. It's probably all sunk to the bottom. So it's not going to be right, is it? And when I did that other side, the rear, the piston just slid in, went in super smooth. I pushed it in with my hand. So I'm obviously going to have to put this in now, because they don't come today, tomorrow from eBay. I'm not going to get that till at least Wednesday, Thursday. So I'm going to put this back in because I've got no choice, and it might be good enough. So I'm hoping maybe I can take it for another MOT next week. This bleed nipple was completely blocked. There was just rust in it, so I've had to use this drill to drill down into the bleed nipple to be able to unblock it. And now if you spray brake clean in there. Right, so it looks like the only thing that I can find on eBay is a complete piston, sort of like an overhaul kit, which is not too badly priced, to be honest. And to be honest, one of these is a bit stiff, because these, due to age, can swell up, and the piston doesn't slide properly anymore. See, that one's really stiff in there, and the other one slides in and out fine. So I've just taken the wheel arch liner off, and actually in here it doesn't look too bad. It's got a couple of areas which can need attention, like up here and behind here, which I'll paint when I get this off. I think it looks worse than it is, but it's relatively easy to replace once you go up there, take this piece out, and it will just go across the back. I'm assuming it'll be easier on one of these because it's a little bit, the engine's a little bit smaller and more accessible. So it's pretty much as much stripped down as I need to do it at the moment. So I just need to clean up, wire brush everything up, give it the disc. I'm going to paint all the outside of the disc, or give it a wire brush on a drill, give this all a clean. The back plates don't look too bad actually, and then just do all the bits up here that I didn't do from underneath. Bit of an update. I haven't really recorded much of what I've done, mainly because every man and his dog has decided to mow the lawn or get their strimmer out as it's the weekend. But yeah, so everything is obviously been vac tanned, dried, and then stone chipped. I've got the new brake pipe in, and I've decided to replace the flexi line because I had them and it was starting to perish a little bit there, look. So I've replaced the brake line, so all the calipers painted back together, the disc is all Vactan painted matte black. So I'm going to order a piston kit, so I'm going to have to take this apart again to replace the piston. It comes with these as well, these little plastic, the guide pins, or the guide pin housings. Done the pipe as well along here, along the back there, and then into there. So I'll give that a spray of matte black paint. Right, so that's it then, it's all done. Wheel arch back in, brakes bled. So I just got to put the wheel on, and then just got to do the same again on the other side. Right, a little bit more progress. Again, done the same on this side, up in there. Disc. So I've just started to run this brake pipe. So I've just got to finish that off, do the bends. Obviously I've got the new hose put on there. I have ordered a pair of front caliper overhaul kits, so the piston, bleed nipple and the rubber bits for the sliders, because it's going to have a complete retest, because it's been way over 10 days now, so it's going to have a completely new test. Can't just get a free retest or whatever, it's been far too long. So I'm actually quite excited about this one. I'm actually quite happy that this one is, I think it's just because of the mileage and everything is correct. All the proper screws are in the proper holes, there's none missing, all the plastic clips are all where they should be, nothing's broken. Right, a bit more on the Range Rover today. I've decided to swap the wheels over from this one to this one. The tyres on this are in better condition, they're newer. Those ones, the ones that wear on here, are flat spotted, and due to the mileage and the condition and the value of this, so I decided to swap over the wheels onto this. So this is all now done, all of the MOT work's done, the brakes are done, everything's done. I'm still waiting for the pistons to turn up and the sliding rubbers and the overhaul kits for the front calipers, but as it stands at the moment, it should be enough for an MOT. I'll take it for another drive today and I'll have a look, and if I'm happy, I'm going to get it in for an MOT. The ride height on this isn't right. Ever since that front suspension arm come disconnected and it sent the suspension all weird and the front went really high, it's ever since I've put that back, cleared all the codes, it thinks it's fine, but that is in standard ride height, but it's in access height. That's what it thinks, and when you put it into off-road height, it goes to normal height, but then you can't go over 30 miles an hour. So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, got the T4 out, the T4 test book out, and what I'm going to do, because I've got the latest disc for this, the latest disc that they released for these Range Rovers. You can actually go through and update all of the ECUs on the car, so it will flash them to the latest software. So it will have the latest up-to-date software that is available for these cars. So I'm going to do that, I'm going to flash all the ECUs, I'm going to check all the codes, see if there's any codes, any issues, and then I'm going to then calibrate the suspension. So the LCS data is what the laptop thinks or knows the car's configuration is, and that's what it uses to code or decode or whatever it needs. So obviously it's saying 18-inch wheels, which it hasn't got. So the vehicle is fitted with the following diagnosable system. To change these options, go to the LCS config, LCS configuration. Okay, so this is where we can switch things off or switch things off. So we can select whether it's a cold country, whether it's Japan, we can disable the engine management light, so the engine management light will never come on. Obviously it's a diesel. You can change the UK market, you can change it from a mile per hour pack to kilometre. English, you can turn off the alarm, whether it's got a sunroof, memory mirrors, all this kind of stuff. Diesel 18-inch wheels. So we can go for diesel 19, which is a bit closer to what it's got now. Front crosslink valve fitted, which it is. So on later cars, they didn't have the front crosslink valve. So if you code the vehicle with a front crosslink valve fitted and it doesn't have one, it will bring up a code and it will disable the suspension. So that's it. So I've changed one thing, which I think was the wheels. Trying to tell the headlamp leveling ECU that I've changed the wheels. So it's telling that, so it now knows where the headlamps have got to point. Alright, so we're going to go through the process now of how to calibrate the suspension. Obviously we go into air suspension. And then vehicle maintenance. And then we go to height recalibration. Okay, so obviously this is the calibrate to each corner of the vehicle, ensure dark doors are closed and the vehicle is at standard height. Okay, so the driver's door is currently open, but because I'm standing in the doorway, but I'm going to flick the switch, which is the same thing. Without breaking the pen. I've already gone round and measured the distance. Now the T4 measures from the bottom of the wheel to the arch, so I've already gone round and written those numbers down just to save me some time. Okay, so it's asking me if I want to use inches or millimeters, so I'm going to use millimeters. Do I want to change it to yes? Okay, so now I need to now put in the rim size, so 20 inch, and then I need to input in, so front right, and then I'm now looking for this number here, so 740. So use the rim size to select the rim wheel size, select the corner for the measured height using the corner select button, which is what I've done. Measure the height for each corner at the bottom of the wheel rim to the top of the wheel arch. Enter the measured height for each corner using the plus and minus buttons. So I have to put into all of these boxes that correspond with these the actual heights of the vehicle, and from that point it will then calibrate the suspension to the correct height. So front right we've got 76 or 760 millimeters, so I need to add on 760 millimeters. Okay, so that's all inputted in. The corners of all four now be recalibrated. Do you want to recalibrate all four corners? Okay, so now if it's wrong, which I think it is, maybe don't know. Anyway, let's see if we can catch it. Yeah, it's just gone up a little bit. Operation complete. On completion of recalibration, restart the engine to enable new height calibrations. It will then be necessary to recalibrate the headlights. So that's all done. So I'm going to go around and measure them all again, and then we'll see what the new numbers are. So I've been round and they all measure pretty much bang on 760. So obviously the rear was a little bit low, but the fronts didn't move, obviously, because that's what I've measured before. It's basically ready for an MOT. I've got to just take it for another little test drive, because obviously the rear brakes need, or the rear pads will need bedding in. It obviously still needs a good wash, because there are still remnants of cobwebs and stuff everywhere. There's a couple of little issues. Obviously I think it's a bit lethargic. When I was driving it before, I just thought, I know these are not quick because they're diesels, but I think it might have something to do with that MAF. There's obviously something wrong with the MAF, so it's obviously just going to a default strategy, and that's why it's a bit lethargic with power. I mean, there's power if you put your foot down, it wants to go, but it's not, when you put it's not very sensitive, I should say. So yeah, so it's a bit of a pity about those because they've been upgraded. I know I've changed the wheels, they're not original, no, but everything else is all original grille, and I think it looks quite nice on it. I mean, yeah, these grills, they look nice and everything, but there's something about the originality of these which actually I think is starting to come into their own now. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Next thing will be at the MOT. Well, boys and girls, it's just had the MOT and I'm not going to drag it out any longer. Here's the results. So here we go. Pass, no advisories, as you would expect because everything's been done. So obviously all of the brake pipes, the brakes, everything's been done. So I'm happy about that. I finally got a pass on it. So now I can move on to doing, it needs a good clean in here and it needs a service, so an oil service, oil filter. So now we've got a clean MOT on this. Obviously the process now starts of giving it a clean. So the first place I'm going to start is the messy bit, which is under the bonnet. So I'm going to do all of the engine bay, bonnet, slam panel. So what I've done a video on this, I'll put a link here for it, is how to do a professional valet. So what I've got is a TFR bottle, so this is traffic film remover, so standard stuff you can buy in Halfords or wherever. So it's a 50-50 mix, so it's 50% TFR, 50% water, and it's just, all this is a really strong detergent. So all I'm going to do is literally just spray right, so that's everything all sprayed up with the TFR solution, and literally we're just going to give it a few minutes or whatever, and then we've got the jet wash set up here. Right, so that's the engine bay done. So I'm sure you will agree that looks a lot cleaner than it did. So I've just been round with the jet wash, just been jet washing off all of the edges and stuff down in here. That's where all the moss and the crap sits, especially if it's been sitting around the door handle, stuff like that. And then on the inside, you can't really, the video seems to make it out better, but this here, I don't really know what that is. I'm assuming it's mould of some kind, but it's sort of all over the top of the dash, obviously the instrument stalk, stuff like that. It's all up here, and you can sort of see it. You can't really see that. You can see it better in the camera than you can with the naked eye. Right, so there you go. It's all been hoovered and cleaned out. So there's the rear. I mean, it wasn't particularly dirty anyway. It's obviously been kept clean. It was just sort of general detritus from it sitting around, really. Right, so there you go. So that's it on the Range Rover video, or the Range Rover videos. It's done, it's complete, and actually it's gone. Which is why I'm not in it and you can't see it. In the process of doing this, it's been sold, it's gone. So I got a good price for it, but the amount of work I put into it, if I added it all up, I probably didn't make any money at all on it. But there you go, I've done it because I love it. So I just wanted to say thank you very much for watching all of the videos so far, all of the interest, all of the comments, all of the thumbs up, all of the subscribers that I'm getting on the channel. So, you know, really grateful for it. So thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you in the next one. Cheers.